Hello, YouTube. Is this working? YouTube, I don't know if you can see this. Let me know in the chat, please, if you can see me and hopefully hear me too. It's my first ever YouTube live stream, so I'm popping my cherry right now. I'm not sure about the technicalities behind this. But yeah, let me know down below if you can see my pretty face and this pretty background. Oh, sweet, guys. Cool. So welcome on board, everyone. I am doing this because I know I haven't posted a video in a little while and I had some time to kill. So I thought I would come and say hi to you guys. This is kind of what I normally do with my students, like a kind of coaching call format. This one's going to be pretty short, but I'm basically here just for the next, 20 minutes or so to answer whatever questions you guys have for me and also just to say hi. And yeah, I hope everyone's doing well, to check in. What can I talk about? A couple of things. Sales are going well on my end. I'll show you my my sales. And then I'll get to these questions. And welcome everyone if you are here watching me right now. But yeah, we're up to that's 340 in the US, which is great, plus UK sales. So plus UK sales, we're about, where are we? 415. Which is awesome. So that's definitely a mid-year record for us. With COVID and 2020 in general has just been a bumper year. So anyway, guys, that's really my only update. I'm in sort of a finca in the countryside in Colombia at the moment for a week or so, and I had some time. So I'm gonna get straight into these questions. If you have any questions for me about Amazon, or you just wanna even just say hi, post your comments down below. I'll bring them up here on screen, like this one. Hello, Chris. Yeah, and I'll get through some questions and we'll try and have some fun doing it. So, Chris, never take my course. Oh, Chris, what are you doing? But thank you for pointing people to my YouTube videos. So let's run through Chris's situation real quick. So Chris, 2,000 PL products, 1,200 units combined, awesome. And low 20s profit margin. So I guess you mean 22, 23%. It's not ideal, but that's still pretty good, especially at 1,200 units per month. So you're going big for Q4, 10,000 units. And what's the concern? It won't land until mid to late October. Okay. So yeah, just as an update for everyone else, logistics in general, because of COVID and all the ripple effects, they're still being seen. And obviously Amazon's just got crazy sales at the moment. I don't know if you've seen their results, but I think their sales were up 40%, something crazy like that. Year on year. So their logistics, their infrastructure is kind of struggling under the weight at the moment. So let's go. Inventory restrictions is it's a really common topic right now. So any insight as to whether lightning deals will increase maximum inventory allowable? Chris, my understanding would be that yes. So your limits, you're talking about the ASIN level limitations, those are based on sales history. So what we've been doing we just got the inventory limits, obviously they roll. So ours update every day. I think some other people inside one of my groups mentioned they update every week, but we're seeing daily updates. So basically you push sales and then the next day your limit will increase by a little bit. It's a rolling average of the last, couple of months. So lightning deals are sales. So that should have an impact, Chris. You can definitely test that to verify. But when we have been trying to increase ours and trying to get over the IPI, which we are now over 500, we were pushing hard on PPC. So apologies if there's background noise. I'm going to try and close this. Got some construction work going on. So first, yeah, that should be a yes, Chris. Try it, but it should work for you. Have you ever incentivized a supplier to finish more quickly? So Chris, understand that with production time, a lot of it actually comes down to scheduling rather than actually them producing the goods in a faster time frame. So while on the surface, it looks like it takes 30 days, oftentimes it's because they're actually slotting your production into a whole bunch of other orders from different customers. So we have definitely been able to not push the production time shorter in terms of actually the real manufacturing processes that are happening, but actually get our orders prioritized ahead. or get more of the factory actually dedicated towards our orders. So we can sometimes do that. And you always want to ask when things are on tight timeframes. If you've got, because you said you were doing 10,000 units or something, you might have some leverage with that supplier. Not leverage like in a bad way, but you might have some relationship capital that you can use to basically to get your orders pushed to the top. So you may be able to shave some time off that without your concern, without reducing or compromising on the quality of the final product. And obviously, Chris, you want to be doing a pre-shipment inspection anyway. So hope that helps. Sweet, guys. Got lots of comments about yes, can hear me. What is my profit margin from my Amazon sales per month? If I can just switch this over. I'm going to show you. Whoa. So who asked that question? Grim Polytoad. 30% in the last 30 days is the profit margin. So that's nice. Okay, get rid of that. That was in the last 30 days. How's it go? Is it possible to manually list in 2 categories? Yeah, I've definitely seen this. We don't do it. I wouldn't bother like dicking around with stuff like that. So you've got notice there's is listed in 2 of the niche down categories, allowing them to get the best sellers badge. We don't generally muck around with stuff like that, just because sometimes the downside risk can be just as great as the upside. Like you're trying to get the best sellers badge. Maybe that works, but like, is it going to be the most applicable product category for your product? If it is, just put it in there anyway, and you don't need to worry about the second category. That's my opinion on that. Angela, hey. It's hard. At that stage, it's hard, honestly. So you can, if you go down really customized, you can start doing like NAN agreements, like non-compete agreements. But honestly, we don't do that stuff just because you put a lot of effort into it. You're at such an early stage where you haven't committed to anything anyway. There's not much behind that relationship. And what are you realistically going to do? How are you going to pursue the supplier? So for practical purposes, we would just take that risk on the chin, basically. But if you start going down the line and it's like, or for example, it's really customized. So I'm coming from the perspective, Angela, where I don't customize my products that much. They're just like, it's not such a big deal. We have other barriers that we work on, and that's what I teach inside the course and the program that you're inside, by the way, Angela. Like it's not always worth the effort to go down this pathway of having this hugely customized product. And I know I've seen lots of people who I've talked to on the phone recently who have done that. And like a year later, they're selling like 3K per month anyway. So it's like, why bother customizing that much? Like going down this really unique route. And then secondly, doing all this work to try and protect something that may or may not be worth very much money at all. That's just my thought process. What is the most critical aspect or USP of my Amazon course that requires me to treat it as a must-have? Colleen, I would look around for any people doing my sort of numbers actually actively selling right now that are also doing coaching calls and actually do personalized support, where I don't just have like some sort of coach or someone who doesn't actually sell on Amazon doing the support. And then just check out my YouTube channel. Go check out the level of detail that I provide for free, and then multiply that by some sort of factor. And that's it really. So I need to, by the way, I have on my list, Colleen. It's a good question, by the way, because I'm pretty quiet about this stuff, but I'm going to interview at least a couple more of my students, and they can just tell you about it. Like it'll be videos posted to YouTube, because I think that's the best way of actually sort of showing it. I don't market my course or do much in the way of like pushing it onto people. So it's a fair enough question. And then the second part, can you do this while holding down a full-time job? Absolutely. Yes, you can. So I didn't do this. I quit well before I started my Amazon business. And I think as I was starting, when I was more new, when I was doing like, less than 6 figures per month, I had a more gung-ho attitude towards this. I was like, you should just quit straight away and dedicate all this time to building your Amazon business. I've seen enough people now doing this and coming through, and it takes time, obviously, like 12 months, 24 months, years, not like just a matter of months to make this really work. I've seen enough people come through this and do it while working full-time and just doing it in their nights, evenings, with a family, with a full-time job, and then making that work. So, I mean, the best example, probably the best example He just quit his job. This is one of my students. He quit his job like 3 weeks ago. So he was doing this, working full time for quite a few years. And his business now it's like the same size as my business, which is crazy. He's doing like 300K per month. So, and he's gone full time on Amazon 3 weeks ago, and he got to that level while working full time. So you absolutely can do it. Just understand that, and this is for anyone else, obviously, you're going to need like an hour or 2 hours per day and be willing to actually dedicate that and focus during that time period. And I think if you get it up to a level of like, if you're working a full-time job and you're doing 6 figures per month on Amazon, you probably want to make the switch at that point, because you can easily put more effort into the business and probably get paid a lot more than at your day job. Aussie girl for the past month, that is the past 30 days. Bilal, how to increase IPI limit. So I think it's too late. I mean, this week is the last week of the year. So your limit now is what it is. They do score checks twice. The ones for this year have already been announced and done. So one was this week and one was a month ago. And the way that works is like if you get over the limit for either of those 2 score check weeks, then you're over the limit. So we were under for the first one, which is in July, but then we implemented some things to increase the limit. And so we got over it for the score check this week. So now we have no limitations on our storage for the rest of the year. Bilal, for you, if you want to do this throughout the rest of the year and try and increase your limit and get that number up so that next time you don't come under the limit or under the threshold, the overall equation is really simple. There are 4 things that go into it. One's like excess inventory. One is sell-through rate. One is, I can't remember the other 2 factors, but the first 2 are more important. That's excess inventory and sell-through rate. And both of those basically come down to use less storage and sell more units. So remove units that aren't selling out of your FBA storage. That will then, therefore, you use less storage and sell more units, which means like I think Chris just mentioned before, he is thinking about doing lightning deals. So his sales velocity will go up, so he'll sell more units. So he will sell more units and use the same storage, which means those ratios get better, which means his IPI will go up. Increase your PPC campaigns, increase your PPC budgets, increase your bids. You could use this opportunity to do extra marketing campaigns, anything that's going to move units faster, because that's what sell-through rate is. It's sales velocity divided by number of units in storage. You want that number to go up, and you want the number of excess units, which are like 12 months or more stored, you want that number to go down to 0. Do that, your IPI limit will go up, and then in 2020 or 2021, whenever the next time they do those 2 score check weeks, you'll have a good opportunity to get over that limit. Hey Joe, how many ASINs do we have? I don't know anymore. I've just been telling people like 30 to 40, but it's something like that. We did phase some out, and we're now launching in different marketplaces for the same ASINs. So the number of ASINs isn't actually going up that much. Mark, hello Mark. I have 100 very relevant keywords. What are the thoughts of launching using only manual exact and product targeting PPC? That is a good thought. So I mean, like you may as well put the other campaigns in, like the broad campaigns and whatever other exotic PPC campaigns you choose to use. But our ranking campaigns are pretty much just like exact. Product targeting we don't even really focus on, but they do sometimes work very well, and so you should be using them. But definitely manual exact for your main keywords and just hit them hard, because you want to be ranking at the first. The first part of your launch phase is your objective is to get keyword ranking, not to do anything else, not to have profitable ACOs, nothing like that. You want that keyword ranking. Are there too many sellers on Amazon? No, there are not too many sellers. No worries, Chris. You can go back and you can watch the start of it. How did I decide what to sell? No, it was definitely not intentional. And this is the scaling part. Once you basically you want to take a bunch of shots on goal, low risk shots on goal, to try and work out what works for you. It'll be your individual circumstance. So your first product might not do that well. Ideally, it will. If you do this correctly, you have a good chance of it succeeding, but it's not 100%, and nothing can guarantee that it'll be 100% success rate. But there are just so many unknowns. You could go into this with this huge, grand, cohesive line of products, but and then you could get in and try the first one, and it could completely flop. And you could realize that your entire perception of the opportunity that you were trying to fill, the customer persona you were trying to target, that was all just wrong. So the way that I did this and the way that I recommend doing it is more organic. It's like go in one product at a time. But once you find the product that hits, and it has room to expand, then just keep following that path of least resistance. Again, unless you've got some other advantage or some reason that means that you should be launching a whole cohesive brand at once, it's just higher risk to do it that way because you have to invest so much into that. Ion, would I suggest the UK market for a beginner? Yes, but so yeah, I like the UK market. We're doing like the numbers I just showed you. Whatever. Actually, no, I will bring it up. So we're doing 50 now in that's pounds in the UK. We recently brought our US ASINs over to the UK. The UK market is good, and I have a video about this on my YouTube channel. It's one of the most recent videos, so you can go and I actually go through using like a weighted metric to work out the demand in each marketplace, how much money, like sales are actually going through, the transaction volume within each Amazon marketplace. The UK is definitely up there. It's also good in terms of being less competitive. The problem, or not problem, but like the gap that I see is that right now, not many people know this, which is crazy. The reviews actually accumulate across marketplaces. So if you sell in the US, you sell a product that's doing 20K a month, and that same product is doing 5K a month in the UK, the US seller is probably accumulating reviews 4 times as quickly. And the US seller can take that same ASIN and launch that same product into the UK market and carry across all of those US reviews straight away. So they will have an automatic advantage when they take that product from the US into the UK. And it only works that single way. And that's what we did. So that's how we've been able to launch these products very easily. So the US, like the long term is that those other marketplaces are going to not be as good compared to the US because of that, because you will have a review disadvantage. Aussie girl, lots of questions. So when I say we, depending on the context, if I'm talking about my business, I mean myself and my team. So I own the business and I have a team that works for me. So myself, the owner, and then we is the community. Or, sorry, the team. Or, sorry, I could be talking about my course. I'm not sure what you were specifically referring to. I'm talking about my students or something. Then it's we is me, the guru, my students, the community. But I'm not sure what question you're talking about. Yeah, this is what I like to hear, guys. Come on, give me some other success stories. Just little wins. Share some wins as well. Thanks for the heads up on lifting the early restriction on shipping. Timing was perfect, and we were able to launch successfully on May 20 with a fantastic first month. Davison, that's freaking awesome. I'm really proud of you. I'm happy for you as well. So that's great to hear. Shinali, this question doesn't have an answer. How many units would you recommend ordering for a new product for Q4? It completely depends on the product. You should have done the product research, worked out how many units you think you'll sell. And then now the additional complication is that you will have to deal with inventory restrictions. So the limitation on most new ASINs, if they're normal size, is 200. So some people are like, I'll just sell 200 units during Q4 because that's my limit. But I think the more intelligent way is to take that an extra step and actually look into 3PL. So you would ship as many units as you need to stay in stock for the period of time that you're going to be selling for, according to the sales velocity that you forecasted as part of your product research process. Do that, work out how many units you need, and just ship those into a 3PL. And then you can hopefully you can drip feed 200 in, minimize your stock out time into FBA, or you could try FBM. But yeah, that question doesn't actually have an answer because it depends what product you're going to sell. Colleen, sweet, no worries. Reaper, you keep hearing that private label isn't viable anymore. Is this true? The answer is no, that is not true. Feel free to expand on that if I can clarify something else, but the answer is no. Adrian, I don't know if you're a student. I don't think you are a student, but if you are, you should watch my lesson about this, which I released last week inside the course. If you're not a student, the answer is yes. But again, I don't think you are a student. But anyway, I have a comprehensive lesson that goes through the whole process, how it works, what you need to do to optimize it, and everything. Is it better to have sales divided into 8 to 10 different products or just 1 or 2? Depends. So 1 or 2 is less work, but it's more risk because when one listing goes down, then you've lost 50% to 100% of your sales, which happens. If you have 8 to 10 different products, you're diversifying the risk. I think my overall answer to that is that at the start, you want to be going into it with lower risk unless you've proven the process for yourself. So you want to start with 1 or 2 products, but you want to grow that into 8 or 10, right? So yeah, it's hard to answer that question. So the question, what comes first, the brand name or the product? The product idea comes first. So the product idea is going to consist of a market, a customer, not a market. It's going to consist of a customer who has a problem. And yes, the way that we look at that on Amazon, Jorge, is, and it's not a silly question, by the way. No question is silly. You can have a problem that needs to be solved by a specific type of customer. And then you think of the product that will solve that problem. And then the brand name should be something that tells the customer, potentially it should be something that tells the customer or like adds to the explanation of how that product will solve that problem for that customer. So you don't want to, I kind of think of an example where you would think of this awesome name and then just create something around that just for the sake of it. You would start with the product, the need, the demand, which is what does this customer need? And on Amazon, we do that kind of in reverse because we actually look at keyword search demand to work that out. But this is more like from a first principles approach. The product idea, which is the opportunity in the marketplace, the problem solving aspect, that would come first. Hey again, Joe. What should we spend time on during that day to best grow the business? What's the best way to scale? Depends where you're at. Completely depends where you're at. So in terms of actually scaling, you always have 1 or 2 limitations, or 1 or 2. It'll be your time or your money. Really, you're talking about like what's the best way to grow your business? It's going to be to launch products. And if you're not launching products, you probably should be, at least at the start. So right now, we're at the stage where we have a big enough business where we can actually do other things that are going to have a bigger impact than just launching another product. But to get up to 400K per month, it was a lot of launching products. So generally, it's just spend your time launching products. That should be most of your time because that's going to increase revenue, not just, yeah. And I guess then the flip side is like, because I see a lot of people asking questions like, what do I do with this one return or this one customer service problem where this customer is unhappy and now I'm just like tearing my hair out trying to think about, or like they left a review and like just spent hours and hours trying to like, I don't know, make it better or something. Like just sell more products, launch more products and sell more units. So yeah, how do you sell internationally on Amazon? Define that question. Do you mean to sell on Amazon is global? So Amazon is an international company with marketplaces internationally. What do you mean by that, Siad? How do you minimize the risk of the supplier selling your product to multiple other sellers or undercutting by selling it directly? So you could try and get an exclusivity agreement. This is how I would minimize the risk of that. And this is how we do it, is just be better at selling on Amazon. Be better at selling Amazon, except that your suppliers, they're just a factory. Unless you can really like, you're going to basically take all of their production, which by the way, we're kind of doing. We have most, or at least like a large chunk of one of our suppliers orders are for us. So we actually have some sort of leeway where like our business really does affect the output of their factory. But if you're not selling at that volume or the factory, like you're dealing with a big factory, the supplier is going to sell your products to other sellers. I mean, the basic product, unless you're really, really heavily customizing it, which I answered before, I don't actually do that. So like that's going to happen. That's part of normal business. The factory is going to have multiple customers. They're going to sell their products to multiple customers. The second part, undercutting by selling it directly themselves on Amazon. The answer to that is just be better at selling on Amazon. Most factories, like it's a separate business model. Being a factory versus being an Amazon seller are 2 different things. So just like I'm not going to be a good manufacturer of these products, the factory is not going to be a great Amazon seller for those products. So just be better at selling on Amazon. Alish, product costs $10 to make and net profit is $6. That is an ROI of 60%. That is low. I am ranking for the keyword. Alish, so that is low. So my threshold is going to be 100% ROI, or in your words, it'd be $10 net profit on $10 to cost to make. That's after PPC. That's after everything, right? So that's a net, which you said net profit. However, do you need the money for anything else? Are you generating 60% ROI on your investment easily? Is it something that's just going? If so, let it go. Let it go. You've already done the work. You've already de-risked the process of like launching the product. So unless you need that money for something else that's also de-risked, I'd keep it going and let it accumulate. But keeping in mind that when you go into other products in the future, you want a higher ROI, 100% minimum. So that'd be $10 on your $10 cost. Jared, that's unfortunate. Launched in June, selling 10 to 12 units a day, and competition has come in. Oh, guys, I gotta head off soon. What can I do? Sales are down. So you've got a new product. Sales are down 34%, so 30 to 40%. This is the tough part. You've just launched this product. So I imagine, I don't know, Jared, anything about the story about how you launched this product, the process you followed. It sounds like maybe you launched into one of those like fresh, like up and coming kind of trending niches. And so the numbers you were looking at, or the sales velocity you were expecting, and the demand that was there, that has now been filled by a greater number of sellers. Because if you launched in June, now we're in the start of August. So basically in the last month since you launched, a lot of other people have come in. So you don't really want to get into products like that. Or at least I don't like getting into products like that, just because this situation will change a lot. So the sort of foundation for what you're doing, again, without any further information to go off, maybe it sounds like there was really high demand and like very, very, very low reviews, and normally those things will equalize. I would check what has happened to your profit margin. And like, honestly, big picture is if it's making profit, which depending on the niche and the way you've described it, maybe it won't be, maybe it'll be a price war. Either way, I'd probably leave it and just like let it go. So I could tell you all these things like, yeah, go check, go re-optimize your listing, go optimize your PPC campaigns. But that's on the tail end of things that actually add value. So at this point, you've launched the product, you committed to it. A lot of the time, if that's already done and your listing is 11 out of 10 optimized, your differentiation that you've done, it's in the product, you can't change that. You are following the correct processes to optimize your marketing campaigns. You just let it go, basically. Like, you could maybe lower the price to try and get more sales. But like the 80-20, the 80 is like, don't go into a niche that's suddenly going to be filled with competition a month after you launch. There is always a risky element to that. So sometimes, Jared, even if you've done everything absolutely correctly and you get to 80% confidence, which, by the way, that's all we ever get to, is like maybe 85% confidence that this product is going to succeed and going to make its money in the medium to long term. Understand that it's never 100%. And so maybe, I don't know, again, I don't know your situation, but maybe you fell on the unlucky side of that. In which case, I would go and launch another product and try and get on the lucky side of it. Well, not the lucky side of it, but like the confident side of it. I know everyone wants to hear like, go fix your PPC campaign, or like just fix this magical hack. But if you've done everything correctly up to this point, which is your keyword listing, is your product research, improvement, identifying the correct niche, then you've done the listing optimization, the keyword research, you've done that all 10 out of 10. Then you've actually made the listing and the images and everything super, super attractive. And then you've implemented the correct launch strategy, which includes getting reviews, launching, like doing the marketing, whether it's just PPC or they're using external traffic sources, all of that. If that's all dialed in, then you're at the other point and your sales are going down, then you have done everything correctly. Otherwise, go back and repeat the process and do it correctly. But I can't really help you with that level of detail in this call right now. PL versus wholesale. I don't do wholesale, but I have seen some people doing it, and then they're going great until other people are just selling on the same listing, and then you got no control. So I just don't understand that, because it's so easy to do. You just go find the same product that's being sold, literally exactly the same product, and there isn't even any like product development delay. You just go and get the product from the supplier, from the distributor or whatever, and just list it on Amazon. So I don't understand wholesale. I mean, I understand it, but like, I'm happy doing private label, put it that way. Said, hey, sweet guys, I think I answered some of these questions, most of these questions, but I'm gonna have to head off now, so I'll answer two more, I reckon. 2 more or 3 more maybe. So instant selling internationally, how do you have the goods stored in those countries? No, so that's what FBA is for. FBA stores the goods for you. That's why it's so easy. So in European countries or in certain other jurisdictions, you'll need to investigate whether there's tax implications like VAT. So if that's the case, for example, in Europe, if you are storing your goods in UK, Europe, wherever it is, as soon as the goods are stored there, then you'll have VAT obligations, generally. Again, depending on the actual country. But FBA does the storage for you. That's the whole purpose of and that's the advantage of the platform. That's why it's so easy. So that's why me, as an Australian who'd never been to the US, could sell $1 million and then multiple millions on Amazon using FBA without actually going there and touching the goods myself. That's the power of it. All right, last question, Chris. Have you had any success selling your items profitably via driving traffic? So Chris, here's a little tip for you. If you're getting videos done for Amazon, use the, oh gosh, I can't even remember what it's called, but it's the sponsored videos PPC campaigns. Yeah, it is under PPC, sponsored videos. Get your videos on that, try that. You probably get a really good performance out of those campaigns. Have I had success selling items profitably external? Nope, don't do it. We don't do it because we have more success for less effort selling on Amazon. So it's always the next thing on the list, and the thing that's above that on the list is always more profitable for a lower effort. And that thing is always selling products on Amazon, ranking on Amazon, and just doing Amazon stuff. So the stuff that you're talking about just never really works out for us in terms of the effort that it requires to establish this other channel, basically. That one day may change, but it has continued to not change for the last like 4 years. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to pop in and say hi to everyone and yeah, answer some questions. So yeah, I appreciate you for tuning in and listening to this. So I hope it was helpful. Hope I helped clarify some things for you guys. I've got some time here in this place for the next week. So I'm going to be recording some YouTube videos and getting back into the whole content thing. So just wanted to say hi, make sure everyone knows that I'm here and help out a little bit if I can. So thanks so much guys for tuning in, and I will see you again soon.